I'm here with Howard and Sean, and we're looking at the top iconic tickets, rankings 40 through 21. Sean and Howard, good to see you again.
Good to see you, Mike.
Good to see you, Mike. Good to see you, Sean. Happy to be here. Excited.
All right, we're whittling down, getting to the I guess the cream of the crop. Starting to really see some of the really nice tickets that people really like to collect starting to pop up, the hard to find stuff. But let's just get it going. Let me open this up. We got number 40, and number 40 is Pete Rose MLB debut. Take it away.
I'll go first, I guess. I didn't even have this on my list, and I think that we talked about this last time, but there's certain debuts that probably aren't iconic, but for some reason, people really like this Pete Rose debut. I don't know. I kind of already know how Howard's going to feel about it, and I agree. So what do you think, Howard?
Yeah, I mean, I love Pete Rose. I love this debut. It would be something I would long to own. I really do want one at one point in time. I hope to have one, but it's not on my list. And kind of interestingly, you know, we kind of stole this from the PWCC card list, and I know there was a lot of uproar that his 1963 rookie card didn't make the list, their list, but makes our list, but wasn't on mine. Wasn't on mine.
Yeah, you know, this is, as we'll see this list, you know, a lot of these debuts now, it's kind of the whole controversy, like, well, are people just picking the best players and picking their debuts, or they really love the ticket? Is it something? I feel like this one has stood out a little more than some of the other debuts, because you've seen it go in auction houses and such, but it's a solid ticket. But like, I'm kind of on the same with you guys about, I don't believe I don't have it ranked. And for this, there are a total of 16, four fulls and 12 stubs.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And there's different color variations also, correct?
Yeah, there's at least 2 different colors that I know of.
39. Oh, very, very relevant with with his passing. Jim Brown NFL debut. So now we hitting those debuts, and iconic NFL running back. You know, just kind of is what it is, right? It's a debut of a super Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I think this one's a little different, guys. This one was on my list. And I'm sorry, it was not on my list, but I own it. And I think it's, I mean, mine's not in the greatest of shape. But I have to tell you, I mean, Jim Brown is a GOAT. And, you know, if you're a GOAT and your debut is on the list, you know, I'm okay with it. I mean, I had some debuts on my list, and I think there are GOATs like, you know, Jordan and Gretzky and Jim Brown, where they belong on the top 100 iconic ticket list.
Yeah. I agree with that, Howard. I think that when I try to think of a vintage football debut that should be on this list, this is the one that comes to mind first, I think. Obviously, Tom Brady, and there's a couple more modern ones that are really popular, but this is the one vintage football debut that I can think of. And I did have it on the list. I had it at 74 because I guess maybe I had a little bit of bias towards having an NFL debut, a vintage NFL debut on my list as well. But this is, you know, it's come up for auction a few times. It's been available enough, and it goes for a decent price. So it's a very popular ticket.
Guys, I'm sorry, before you jump in, Mike, I misspoke. I had it 54 on my list.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of agree with Sean on everything. I had it at 79, just kind of a pretty recognizable debut ticket for, you know, a vintage football in Hall of Famer. So I think I'm okay with, I'm I'm okay with 39 on that. Maybe a little high, but I'm okay with it definitely being in the top 100.
Yeah.
38. By the way, on that one, there were 16 total, 13 stubs. So still pretty rare. 38. Ooh, this is a beaut. This is one of my faves. You know, I love the big historic events. Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, 1979 NCAA final. Cool looking ticket, super iconic, started everything. Kind of the rivalry, the moving into the NBA. This is one I just absolutely loved, and one of the first ones I was trying to get, and I actually got mine autoed. And you know, you can get Magic and Bird's autograph. So here's mine, basically, and I really love how this one turned out. I was super fired up about it.
Looks great.
That's basically a PC that was thrown in the vault and probably will never be sold or seen again. Would you guys have this one at?
I had it at number 39, so I was almost spot on. And you know, same reason. It's a classic. It's I think that people our age probably appreciate it more than younger people because we grew up with Magic and Bird, and that was kind of our first exposure to the NBA. Those were the stars, and this was kind of the beginning of the rivalry. So it's, you know, we can have a better appreciation for it, but definitely an iconic ticket.
I also think it kind of belongs on the list because of the ticket is pretty relevant in that it commanded some pretty big numbers during the bubble. Yeah. I don't remember what the highest one went for, but
I think it was around like 30-40K for an autoed one.
Jeez.
Yeah. And guys, one went recently in a heritage auction, a signed one, and I think it went for over $15,000. So this is pretty solid numbers for this ticket.
And what's the pop on that one?
Pop on this one is actually 39, which, you know, this is one you saw people pulling out of their dresser drawers the last 2 or 3 years. I remember, I think it was sub 10, you know, around COVID. You have 34 stubs and 5 fulls. And you actually have 14 of these autographed, probably by both. So, you know, people pulling them out and getting them autographed. I had this at 26. Like I said, one of my all-time favorite tickets. Moving along, number 37. Wilt. So this falls into that category again. Like, are we ranking the player? Or are we ranking the ticket?
Yeah.
What do you think of this?
It goes back to that. I think you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there's only 1 or 2 of these.
Right. There's a total of two stubs.
Yeah. And so it's not particularly aesthetically notable. It's just one of those old Knicks tickets from the, you know, 50s, 60s. There's nothing great about it other than that it was Chamberlain's debut. I don't think that if you had that as a raw ticket, unless you're showing it to a real expert, they would even know what it is. And for that, it kind of makes it so that it's not iconic. To me, I didn't have it on the list. I think that, you know, I'd love to own it, obviously, and it's extremely valuable, but it's not iconic in my view.
Yeah, I don't think it's iconic, and I don't think anyone should have it, and I don't think it should go in anyone's collection, and I think we should all just disregard it so that the next one that comes up for auction I can snag.
Like I said, not what we say iconic ticket, but insanely valuable and one that everybody would like to have. So it's kind of one of those weird places. I didn't have it ranked either, but, you know, it's part you don't ever see it. Nothing really stands out about it, but it is Wilt's debut, and there's not a ticket collector who would not want to own it. So, you know, this is where it fell.
Yeah.
Moving along, number 36. Now, this is a kind of a classic. 36 Olympics, Jesse Owens' first gold medal, which would be the 100 meter dash.
Yeah, I kind of, when I put this together, I kind of struggle with it because it really, it's the entire Olympics for Jesse Owens. All 4 events it should be, you know, and so there's 4 separate tickets. And so then it was like, well, which one do we use? And obviously the first one or the 4th one, which would be the record one, but that was the 4th one was a team event. So it's, you know, not quite as good. So we went with this one, but it really kind of represents the whole Jesse Owens performance in the Olympics, which is obviously extremely historically significant. And this is one that I had ranked 48th. I don't, it's probably right in that same ballpark, right around there. The only thing that draws it down a little bit, I think, is just that it's kind of a secondary sport to the major sports, and a lot of people aren't super high on those. What do you think, Howard?
I think this ticket is incredibly undervalued. And I also think its place in history is probably also undervalued in today's world. I had it ranked at number 11.
Whoa.
I have one.
Oh, we got to get that.
Yeah. I have one, and it's,
Nice.
I mean, it's an African-American who goes over during the time period that it is and becomes the fastest man on the planet. And he does it right in front of Adolf Hitler. I mean, how incredible is that? So yeah. I think it's tremendous.
I agree. I think the only thing that made me rank it lower, I had it at 69, is basically, there's other tickets that's part of this Olympics that he got the gold medal. And it's not incredibly super rare. There's actually 52 of them, which shouldn't really matter. But I think it's more of that there's the 200 meter, I think the long jump, and then there's a relay.
Yeah.
I think this is the most desirable, but this I think kind of takes away. If it was just one, if you got that one massive gold medal, then it'd be like, boom, you got to have that one. But then it kind of gets, the love kind of gets spread out. I think that's where Jesse gets dinged. Maybe. Or this ticket gets dinged. 35. Bobby Orr flying goal. Now the hockey crazies were not happy about this one being ranked at 35. What were you guys' thoughts on this one?
The hockey crazies thought it was too high.
They wanted number 1.
Yeah, this is, I'll tell you, I have this one, and it's, you can't really.
Hold on. Yeah, well, Sean, why do you have this one? You're a baseball debut guy, but you got a Bobby Orr flying goal.
Yeah, I actually really love this ticket. It's a PSA 2, but of all, probably my favorite ticket in my collection that's not baseball. I love it. I think that it seemingly gained in popularity in the last couple of years. I think probably because a few more came out up for auction, and so people became more aware of that, not only the event, but that tickets existed for it, so they could grab one. But I'm a big fan of this, and I'm a new fan of hockey, so it kind of maybe it's the start of something big. But I actually had this at let's see, where did I rank it? 76, and that was before I was a hockey fan when I ranked these. But no, I think that it has become more popular and is becoming more popular as a ticket. And so maybe next time we do this, it'll be higher. But 35 is pretty good. What do you think?
Yeah, I didn't have it ranked, but I own one like you do, Sean. Mine, they're all kind of the same, like small little these Boston ticket takers, man. They just, the Celtics and the Bruins, they just killed the tickets. But it's also kind of cool because it's consistent with the photograph from that. So I know some people have been collecting tickets that kind of go along with momentous photographs. So this is one of those too. I like the ticket. I'm happy that hockey got represented with this ticket. So yeah, I think it belongs on the list. I didn't have it ranked though.
Wow. Okay.
I had it ranked, Howard.
I didn't have it ranked, and again, it I have no problem with it being on the list. It should be on the list, but with so many other tickets, I guess I didn't put it on.
Yeah. I had it at 52. Fine with the 35 ranking. It is, I think, super iconic, and the picture does make I think it more desirable. And there are only 8 stubs, so 25% of the stubs are on this video right now, which actually I would never have guessed that you guys both own this ticket. All right. 34. Oh man. A ticket that I've let slip through my fingers too many times. Ollie Frazier 3, a Thrilla in Manila. I love this ticket. This ticket is really big, so I think it would really stand out at a card show. The final of the trilogy. I think it's amazing. Love the ticket. I mean, what do you guys, where you at on it?
I had it ranked at number 94, so it was on my list. But I'm just not a boxing guy, and it doesn't speak to me aesthetically. So like some of the other boxing tickets, especially the Ali tickets, it's just kind of boring as far as
Sean,
the image of the ticket goes. Not the event, but yeah.
Howard, come on, you're on my side on this one.
Number 37 for me on my list. It actually shocked me when I bought it.
Howard,
shocked me how big it was, and I was shocked. It's a large ticket. The other thing too is because it's so large. I mean, where the heck did people put the ticket when they went to the fight?
Yeah.
I mean, I gotta believe that's why the conditions of these are not terrific. I mean, you're in Manila, but it's also where you can't put it in your pocket.
So you would have had to fold it up, basically.
Yeah, you would have had to fold it up. But I mean, it's an amazing fight. The end of the three, and it's got to be on the list. And Ali fans covet this big time.
Yeah, I had it number 30. Ranked number 30. There are 25 total, 19 stubs, 6 fulls. I don't know if I've maybe seen one full, but you don't see these come up too often. Moving along, 33. Oh, Sean. I won't even say anything. I'll just let Sean speak.
So far, nobody's accused me of cooking the books on this one. But I had this on my list, but I had it at number 58. And I have one, obviously. I don't even know if I used mine. Did I use mine? No. That's a little bit better grade, but there's mine. Sorry, upside down. Yeah. So I think it's an iconic ticket just because of the recent sales. And obviously it's a huge iconic player, but the recent sales have been just astronomical on this ticket, and it's also notable because it was the first time that father-son played at the same time in the major leagues, in Major League Baseball history. So that was also part of the debut history of this one. But it's one of my favorites. Going back to, because it was questioned why that was so high, and I looked at it, and there were 2 people who actually ranked it 15th. And that brought it up quite a bit. And I forget how many there were. I think there was like 13 or 14 people who had it on their list. So this is out of 33. So it was definitely a popular debut.
I think it's, 3 guys pretty much were contemporaneous in age. And because of where he was for all of us, he was the baseball player for us in our teenage years. So that's why it's important to us, his debut. That's why Griffey's so important to us collectors. I had it at 67.
Yeah, I didn't even think I had it on my board. I don't like that's an Oakland ticket. There's a thing about with me and like debuts, I shy away if it doesn't have like the home team on it or the players team. Just weird looking to me. And I don't know. I feel like this got the hype because a lot of these were selling when these rankings were happening and they were getting really good numbers. Still maybe borderline top 100. It is Griffey and people love Griffey.
Yeah.
Even TKD7 agrees with me. Aesthetically, the Griffey ticket is pretty poor.
Yeah. On that, I think personally, I would think that the father-son, the first game that they played together would be higher. That might be a top 100. It didn't make the list. And then, the back-to-back home runs weren't just thinking Griffey tickets.
Right.
The back-to-back home runs were on the road also, and that was an Angels ticket, so it wasn't that great. But I agree. I could be perfectly fine if this wasn't even in the top 100.
We dropped the ball in the pop report, but I saw there's 15 stubs. I'd have to look at the fulls. If anybody has that handy, they could send that over.
There is none.
No,
I've never seen a full of this.
Okay, I pulled that up. I was like, hey, there's got to be a full. That's surprising. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
When I looked, there was none. I've never seen one. I'm kind of surprised. You'd think that there'd be a few out there, but
so it is pretty rare then. 15.
Yeah.
All right. Man, debut heavy. This is like debut heaven for this. Here's another debut. The Larry Bird. Me and Sean, we share a Larry Bird debut connection. Isn't that right?
Yeah, that was our first trade. That's how it all started. This is mine, and I got it from Mike in a trade a couple years ago, I think. I don't even remember when that was.
And I have mine. That's why I traded it initially, because we made a deal. Kind of interesting. It's in a Beckett one, and it's autoed. So I got that like on eBay, I think, pre-COVID. So I was pretty happy with that. I actually have the picture of the full, which actually the full is so cool. Let me see if I can grab that. There it is. You know, the old Celtics ones are super cool. I don't know if I can get it. Oh, there it goes. A little bigger. You get the full logo and everything. Man, it's pretty sweet. You know, the stub is what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love it's Larry Bird. I think it's worthy of being up there. I don't know about 32, especially when you get the full version. I'm all on board just because of the look. I mean, what would you guys have it?
Yeah, I think that this is another example of that there was just incredible sales right around when this list was being put together, and that sale that you just showed where the full sold for $80,000. I mean, that was just insane. And that was the first full that had been kind of uncovered, just like the Roberto Clemente. So the first one always goes for an insane amount of money, and I think a few more have come out since, but yeah, that might have affected it just because it was so in everybody's mind fresh at that time.
It wasn't on my list. We've talked about the reasons why I didn't put some of these debuts on my list. I think it's a great ticket of an amazing player. I own one too. Mine kind of looks just like Sean's. I mean, they're all about the same.
Yeah.
Look terrible. They're cutting, they're like little thumbnails. But yeah, I don't have a problem with it being on the list, but it wasn't on my list.
Yeah, I'm with you, Howard. I didn't have it on my list either.
Oh man, I had a 37, so I was going strong on this debut. There are only 10 stubs, and that one we showed isn't graded. But yeah, it's one of the first ones I really wanted, and I was like, Bird, he's Larry Legend.
Yeah.
Speaking of another legend, 31, Willie Mays debut. Debut city. Good night.
See, I think that this is kind of a lot of people just fantasizing about what they want in their collection versus what they think is iconic, because obviously this would be an incredible ticket. There's only one that's been graded, and it's that one in the image. And I think there might be one or two. I've heard rumors about a couple other ones out there, but it's to me, it's just not enough to be considered iconic. I didn't have it on my list, although I would love to own it. It's probably number one on my want list, but not.
What is the value on this ticket? Auction today, what would it go for?
I think it would go for over 100,000. It'd be somewhere in the same ballpark as the Clemente that went for 120.
I agree. And I agree with everything Sean said, so I don't need to say anything more.
And I agree also. I did not have it ranked. And like Sean said, there is one stub graded, and you're looking at it. Number 30. I'd like to get you guys' take on this ticket. The 1903 inaugural World Series. I don't know too much about this ticket other than I've seen it. I think it was sold once for a lot of money. Give me some insight.
Well, so this is another one similar to the Jesse Owens where I had to decide where it wasn't necessarily the game. It's just kind of representing the event. Any of the tickets to these, because I've seen game one also, and this is game three. But also there's some controversy about whether or not this is even a legitimate ticket to this event, because the event was kind of not really a well organized event, I guess. It was historically speaking, it was an agreement between the American League champion and the National League champion, two separate leagues that hated each other. And the two teams agreed to play in a series in 1903. The leagues didn't sanction this event at all. And it was only 2 years after the American League even started. And so this was a ticket to that event. You could argue that this wasn't even a World Series. It was just an exhibition between these two champion teams. And then it wasn't until 1905 that the two leagues actually started to sanction the World Series and make it a final event that they both organized. So it's, historically speaking, it's really fascinating, the story that goes back there. But the ticket, obviously, there's only a couple of them, and whether or not they're legitimate, whether or not because there's no date on it, there's no kind of even year on it, so it's hard to verify it. And there was some chatter about that on Boogers when I posted this, and it's valid kind of conversation. I would love to get to the bottom of it. The Hall of Fame, I know, has, I think, maybe this one, or this was a reproduction provided by the Hall of Fame. I'm sure the Hall of Fame has one, and they probably know more about it. But it'd be fascinating to learn about the history of this ticket, I think.
Hey, Sean, could you be more positive about the ticket?
Was that not good enough?
I mean, it's like wah wah wah. I mean, I think it's super dang cool. I mean, it was on my list. 52. I love to own one. I don't care that it's not sanctioned. It's not. The American League's only around for 2 years. I don't care what the yo-yo Boogers have to say. I don't care. It's cool, and I think it's awesome.
And it's worth a lot of money.
What's that?
And it's worth a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, I'll never own one. I'd love to, but cool. It's cool.
But the one where so the one that sold for $175,000, it was a restored copy of it, if you remember that. And so, I don't know what a regular copy would go for. It's pretty incredible. Yeah, I would love to own one too, Howard. But I did not have this on my list because I don't think that it's I guess I don't feel like it's well known enough, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it's pretty iconic. Just, it's the first one. It had the massive sale. I think it's very desirable for the big money collectors. I had it at 27, but I could see it being kind of all over the place, especially with the controversy. And it's not really my cup of tea. If I wouldn't want to spend all my money on this ticket, if I was going to drop crazy money, but of course I'd like to have it, but I'm not spending a couple $100K for it. I know that much.
He'd rather get a Dirk debut instead.
That's right. But I don't know. It's in Seattle, so I think it was Seattle, and it might have a goofy Seattle logo on it. 29. Mazeroski, Game 7, walk-off home run. I actually have this is one of the first ones I bought. I have this one handy. Might as well show it since I got it. Here's mine. I think, Howard, do you have one that you got autoed? Is that right?
Yeah.
Am I dreaming that?
Yeah, that said make offer on it, Mike. That was back.
It did. Make an offer. Come on, come with it.
Yeah. Maz is one of the nicest Hall of Famers, and he's got I think he's like late 80s, and he's still signing with a beautiful autograph. And I'm not a Yankee fan, and I kind of remember back to some of the movies that I watch, and it says, Bill Mazeroski made Mickey Mantle cry, and I guess maybe that makes it even more exciting. But what a great ticket. It's I mean, look at the ticket. I mean, it's like artwork. I mean, it's gorgeous. And it's just an iconic moment. I mean, for me, it was very high on my list. It was 12.
Whoa. Okay. Mm-hmm. Sean, what would you have it at?
I had it at 23, and I could see 12. I wouldn't put it that high, but it's certainly an iconic ticket. You kind of get into these World Series, and there's so many iconic World Series tickets, and it's hard to rank them. But it's just really well known. Definitely up there. I do not own one though. I used to.
I had it at 54. I like it a lot. Like I said, if you're a huge baseball guy, this has got to be in your top 20, top 30. Quite a few of these. There are actually 183 stubs and 10 fulls, total of 193. So people were keeping this stub. They knew the historical significance from that. And, being a home game, I wonder if this was on the road, what do you think the numbers would have been? Probably half that.
Well, people tend to keep World Series tickets. I bet there's many, many, many more out there that are not slabs. So
I would agree.
28. The Pine Tar Incident, George Brett's.
Yeah, where did I have? I had this at 49, and it's a great ticket. I think that it's most notable for George Brett's running out onto the field and screaming and everything, and that's obviously a iconic image and highlight in any highlight reel in baseball history. So definitely deserves mention in the top 100. What do you think, Howard?
Yeah, I'm a fan of this moment. I had it at 24. I have a signed copy of it, stub though, and
We got signed. Hold on.
yeah.
Okay, cool.
The stubs are nowhere near as impressive as the fulls. But if you recall correctly, there was actually some debate about this ticket when we posted it on the top 100 IG page. Some people were saying that this is memorable now, kind of to our generation, or but it won't be remembered the same way in 10 or 20 years. That people won't remember the moment, and they won't remember George Brett. And I thought about it a little bit, and maybe there's some truth to that, but I kind of think I disagree. I think it will always be memorable just because it's just such a legendary video and just such a legendary baseball moment.
Yeah, and if you read the story behind it and how they had to finish the game, and basically they finished the game on another day because the Royals, sorry to give you another history lesson, Howard. But the Royals protested the game, and the protest was upheld, so they had to finish the game, which was only another one inning. And so they had to go to, the ballpark. Both teams had to fly in there and play one inning, and the game ended, and the Royals ended up winning. And that kind of makes it part of the story, which is a really bizarre way to finish a game.
Just a very quick point before you get to yours, Mike. And I think this completes the story. But my understanding is that the Royals called the same thing on Thurman Munson or somebody some years earlier, and that was supposedly some kind of payback for. I don't know, but there's that aspect to it as well, or some other piece.
Right.
To it.
This wasn't the first time that this had happened.
Yes,
and it was overturned then too. So it was kind of like a test. They were trying to see and that's part of why George Brett was so upset.
Yeah.
I had it at 92. I kind of think it will fade as time goes on, but the video, people always be like, "Oh, that crazy guy for the Royals, that he was a hell of a player and just went nuts one day." I like the ticket, don't love it. That's why I had it at 92. Total of 55, 22 fulls and 33 stubs. So quite a few fulls. It was pretty surprising. 27. LeBron James NBA debut. Maybe one of my favorite debuts.
Please tell me you have the original photo.
Get ready.
Oh yeah.
Get ready.
All right.
Type 1, boys.
Oh my gosh.
Priceless.
That's great.
That's amazing.
No,
me and the family are very tight. I will tell you that I think this is an awesome ticket. I do like the baby on it. I'd rather the baby be on it than some random Kings player or something goofy. Do you guys like the Ticketmaster version better? I'm trying to pull up the Ticketmaster version. I did have it. Let's see if it pulls up. Here it is.
Like the Ticketmaster version. Yeah, any ticket better than the season ticket version.
Sean?
I cannot stand the Ticketmaster version of any ticket. I will not own one. I own a couple just because they're random events that I don't really, but I wouldn't ever pay any amount of money for a Ticketmaster version of any ticket. I love the baby version of this, and the reason is because it's a reminder to all ticket collectors that tickets were not originally produced to be collected. it was just an honor for this season ticket holder to be selected to use their photo, and that was it. They were meant to be thrown away, and they were never meant to be, some YouTube video about with one of the guys holding up in a Type 1 photo. But yeah, this is one I own too, and it's just a stub. I got it because it's iconic, and I actually had this at number 15. I think that it's absolutely one of the most iconic tickets in the modern era, probably top 2 or 3 in post 2000 for me.
I think Sean wants to adopt the baby.
No, I wouldn't mind having a photo if you have an extra one though.
No, I just have that one. It's between me and the family. They gave it to me. They want me to have it, so I'm gonna keep it. I love this ticket. I'm really curious to see the future of it. Is it going to get really expensive? I feel like people kind of hoard them and don't want to sell them. A lot of people, there's quite a few of these. There's 80 stubs and 28 fulls, which is actually surprising. And this was the time where I don't know if they were scanning at the time or they were ripping, but to have 28 fulls is pretty surprising. And Howard's got a full over there.
You know what, guys? My goal is to have the first signed LeBron debut.
Yeah, that's the other quirk about this is there are no signed debuts. Like LeBron just doesn't sign.
How are you going to do it, Howard?
He's such a piece of shit. I don't think I'm going to be.
Oh, Howard.
we're live, right?
What's that?
You're the autograph guy, so you should be able to.
Yeah, he's rough. He's really tough. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it can happen. I mean, he's done some things before. He's an upper deck guy, so there's still a possibility that you could get him somehow through a connection with upper deck, but in person, he's next to impossible.
Wow.
Interesting.
But yeah, I feel like this is a ticket is almost a must own if you're into ticket and collecting an NBA and, just awesome ticket, awesome event. It was huge at the time. Number 26. Oh, Buckner. I was watching the documentary late last night. Iconic.
Yeah.
Where'd you have it, Mike?
Where did I have this? Let me double check. I forgot to print it out, so I just keep flipping back and forth. I had this one 1986. What'd you have? I had it at 11.
Yeah.
Very high on my list. Super high.
I had it at number 13, so right around that same thing. I think it's definitely one of the tops.
Not number 8 for me. Yeah.
I am fired up. I traded at the National 2 or 3 years ago and got a full, and I think there's so many out there. Everybody kept that ticket. There's 188, 163 stubs, and 25 fulls. So there are quite a few for that.
And I've got another one of the fulls.
Oh, okay.
I got to tell you, when I first started collecting tickets back in the day, you could literally buy this ticket for $10.
As a full?
No, as a stub.
Yeah, as a stub.
10, 15, $20. And look at where it is today. And it's super rare to have one that's signed by both Mookie and Buckner. And now that Buckner's gone, good luck. So even that's incredible value.
Yeah, there are 34 stubs autographed, but then again, it's like we don't really know how many are signed by both.
Yep.
Yeah.
But if you're a baseball fan, I don't know how you wouldn't own this one. 25. Oh, another monster 1980s sporting baseball event. World Series Game 1, Kirk Gibson home run.
See, I actually had this one a little bit higher, and I also own this one. And this is a lot nicer. It's a 3, but it's there we go.
It's upside down. And blurry.
Oh, that wasn't blurry. I had this one at number 11, and I think that it's more important than the Buckner just because it was there's a lot more story behind this because Kirk Gibson was injured and wasn't expected to play and didn't play at all other than this one at bat, and it happened to be a game-winning home run. in game one, which set the tone for the series. So it was one of the most historic events in baseball history.
Who's ever watching this right now, when this is over, go to YouTube and watch the at bat live on YouTube. Watch it. It is Vin Scully at his best. It is theater. Yeah. It is theater. It's just that good. I have it. I mean, I think everyone has one of these.
Yeah, I have one too. Like, we all just like got one you have to own if you're a collector, I feel like.
And I would tell you guys, just so that you're all aware, for the autograph purpose, Kirk does signings, signs them up nice, and he actually sadly has Parkinson's disease. So, if you're going to get it signed nicely and done the right way, I would do it sooner rather than later. I had this as 47 on my list, which is probably too low, but it is incredibly memorable. And just go ahead and watch it. You will be amazed. It's so good. I can watch 100 times in a row. It's so
the
good.
AB is that bat is so long, but yeah, like you said, it's super drama filled. I had this at 31, iconic. A lot of these out there, 213 Stubs, 241 Foles, and he signed 102 total. So it's just a great ticket, great moment, great everything, a must have. 25. Now we're going to 24. The Shot, Jordan, another one of my favorites. This is where I really feel like the countdown starts to get really great. And, like these last three tickets we've talked about really kind of sum up what big collectors want to have. And look at that beauty, a full.
There you go.
There it is.
I need that one. I'm going to trade you something for this one.
I do like that one. You wanted the called shot ticket last national. I couldn't pull the trigger on that.
I gotta tell you, although this was an offensive foul on Michael, it's a pretty iconic moment and a pretty iconic ticket. I kind of like the blue. I've seen like a purple version of this too.
Yeah.
But it's an amazing ticket. It peaked and it was really high and really valuable, and it's now actually kind of for how iconic a moment in sports this was and of Jordan's career. I kind of would say right now, from some of the auction sales, the recent auction sales that we've had, it's affordable now. Relatively speaking, it's affordable. I think this has a ton of upside.
I agree with you. I have it ranked at number 7. That's how much.
7.
7, Sean.
Wow.
Jordan's top moment. It's the greatest player of all time's top moment. Like,
well,
right?
I'm not arguing about the moment, but the ticket itself, it's a Jazz ticket and it's kind of anonymous. It's game K. That kind of thing kind of turns me off on these.
I may have had it a little high at 7, but I feel like it's Jordan's best ticket, right? Am I wrong?
Is it?
Other than his debut, right?
Yeah, it's one of them.
Yeah. I had it at 32. And how many Jordan the Shot events are there? I thought that, I didn't even know the difference between them until we started, and apparently there's at least 3 in the top 100. And how can it be called the Shot when there's 3 of them? It should be called one of the shots.
One of the shots.
That one, isn't that the shot over Elo? Isn't that the way they refer to that?
Yeah,
one?
that's a shot too.
Yeah, and then the one when he was in college, isn't there?
Yeah, that's true. That's the college shot.
Yeah, I think Howard's talking about it not being that expensive, because this is another one that people were pulling out of their dresser drawers the last couple of years. We're at 105 total, 99 Stubs, 6 Foles.
Yeah.
But an amazing ticket. This is one I started, like, I guess what you call stacking, buying multiple of. I think I have like 3 now, but amazing ticket.
30?
No, 3.
Oh, 3.
23. 1919 World Series Game 8. I will let Sean take the floor on this one.
Well, so there was some debate over whether Game 8 versus Game 1. I think that they're both equally important. I don't think Game 1 is necessarily better than Game 8, and I don't think Game 8 is necessarily better. Game 1 is when the batter got hit, and so the fix was on. But this is the game that sealed the fix, that confirmed the fix. So this one is far more rare. It is the most rare of the entire 8 games of the 1919 series. So it's highly valuable, and I think that kind of brings more attention to it. But in recent years, the Game 1 has become really, really popular. I don't know if that has to do with some social media people hyping it or what, but back in the day, Game 8 used to be the superior one.
I think it's still the superior one, even though I like Game 1 better, but I would never disrespect the old school baseball World Series ticket collectors who say Game 8's the game. So I had it at 62. I don't own it. I would love to own it, but it's probably a little bit outside of my price range.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of agree with all of what you guys said. I had it at 50, ranked number 50, and there are only 6 stubs, so very, very rare.
And I had it at 26, so close to where it was.
Okay. 22, The Catch. Another iconic, amazing, fantastic, wonderful ticket.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And also one that there's a couple of the catches, but at least this isn't the same player. But I have one. I actually have 2 of these. They're just stubs, bad condition. I don't know the full one that is in the image. I think that there's a couple of those, and I think that was it. You traded.
I made the deal. I got to pull my. I got to get this graded because I don't know what it could be, a 9 or a 10, but yeah, this one is.
And that there's only 2 in the pop report, right?
Yeah. So for the pop report, there are 58 fulls. No, there's 12 fulls, 1 autoed. So there'd be 1 other autoed. 46 stubs, 12 fulls. And
yeah,
I love this ticket. I had it at, what did I have this at? 13.
Wow. It's definitely one that's taken off in popularity. It was only a couple of years ago that you could pick this up for less than $100 any day of the week on eBay. And that's how I got 3 of them. So
I also had it at number 13, and I was in awe just recently when Mark Mader, who's a tremendous collector of tickets and memorabilia, posted the one he had that's actually signed by Montana and Dwight Clark, because that's exceedingly rare. And again, unfortunately, I mean, Dwight Clark was one of the nicest men I ever met, and he passed away, so you're not going to be able to get those signed. But this is an iconic ticket, and little piece of history or trivia, I guess. If you watch the play, do you know who actually is announcing it?
I do not.
Don't know.
Same guy who called that 1988 World Series Game 1.
Scully?
Yeah,
he's always there, isn't he?
Go back and listen to it. It's a pretty amazing Vince Scully moment. Yep. Great ticket.
Yeah.
Great.
Yep.
Ticket.
If you're a football collector, ticket collector, I think it's a must own. And the last one, number 21, Brady takes over for Drew Bledsoe. One of my all-time favorite tickets. Maybe the first ticket I started collecting multiple, just because I consider it the equivalent of the Lou Gehrig, Wally Pip change with Ingard. I love the ticket with Bledsoe being on it. It's a cool ticket, a home. I mean, for me, it hits all the buttons. I mean, what did you guys have it at?
I totally agree. I had it at number 16. I think that it's absolutely one of the most iconic tickets in collecting now. I have one. It's let's see, mine's a PSA 4 and it's full. So
yeah, I had it at 27. Mike, I've actually never heard it called the Pip Gehrig moment, and I think you're spot on. It is that important, and it's a great ticket too. I mean, we've seen a lot of people talk about it, and the fact that Bledsoe's on it and it's Game 1, it really checks all the boxes. This is an iconic ticket for sure.
To me, this is one that if it isn't this version, then it's far less desirable, especially, specifically because it doesn't have Drew Bledsoe on it. And I think
people forget that Drew Bledsoe was like the guy, like the top highest paid player at the time, like the savior of the Patriots. And when he got hurt, everybody thought the season was over.
Yeah, he was great.
And it just turned out I have I bought this in an auction, golden, years ago, and this is a full autoed 8 Auto 9. Like, man, this is another one just thrown in my vault forever. And then I was buying up. I have these other ones also. Those are all Stubs. But those are ones I was like, when I first got into it, I was like, man, these are so cheap. Like, to me, it was the Brady ticket. And then the Brady debut started going crazy. I was like, oh, I guess I should have bought the Brady debut, but I guess I'm very content with with having what I have. But like I said, there are these were pulled out of the dresser drawer. There are 84 total, 64 Stubs, and 20 fulls. And that, my friends, concludes 21 through 40.
Getting right down to it. It's fun. Yeah. I think we're getting a lot of good feedback, a lot of good debate, healthy debate over, some of these debuts versus non-debuts and all of that. So it's been a lot of fun.
I couldn't agree more. And I think I've gotten a lot of pleasure. I'm sure you guys have too, seeing the banter back and forth in the debate, and it's all been really healthy. And I think good for the hobby. So I'm excited to see what comes next. I can't wait till we get to the end, not because it's just the end, but just to see what's coming up. I mean, I've actually
ready for the end.
Yeah, sure.
I'm ready for the
end. Sean's doing all the heavy lifting.
I can't wait for the end just because it's the end.
Yeah. It's been fun though. I'm still excited and pumped every time I see Sean posted it around 11:30 my time. It's cool.
Yeah. We I think the plan going forward is to do 20 through 11 and 10 through 1 and take a little deeper dive, especially those top 10.
And so I can pull out some of the numbers on like how many ballots each one was on and where it kind of ranked highest and stuff, without naming any names, obviously, but give some more detailed information for each number in the top 20. I think that might be kind of interesting.
Yep. So probably next week we'll do the 20 through 11. Then the following week we'll get that top 10. And I know a lot of people are wanting to know, what's going to be 2, 3. I think people have a good idea what number 1 is, but the top 5 is, I think, highly debatable.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, Howard, thanks again. Sean, good to have you on. And I guess we'll be back probably next week.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.